Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for divorcing my depressed wife because her depression and depression-induced spending are dragging me down? When my wife, 36F, and I met, 35M, I was in an MBA program, and she was finishing up her certification process to become a nurse anesthesiologist. I was drawn to drive and optimistic view of the world. We were both young adults, 26 and 27, who saw the world as an endless source of opportunity. We discussed having kids when we were more established in our careers. After graduation, we both went to work. I got a job consulting, making $200K a year with a signing bonus, and have continued to grow in my career. My wife was crushing it at her dream hospital, making $150K before overtime. We were so happy traveling and enjoying ourselves, we eventually bought our home and were truly living our dreams. Until about 3 years ago, my wife had a mental breakdown at home between shifts at the hospital. She was eventually hospitalized for a few weeks. After she came home, we agreed she would take 6 months off to recover, and I would take care of us. Immediately, she started spending an average of $2-3K every other week, traveling with friends and weekend trips. She stopped helping around the house and was constantly out of the house. I completely supported this for the first 6 months. She said it was part of her healing process, and I understand entirely, through sickness and health. Then, the agreed 6 months passed, and I asked if she was ready to return to work part-time. This caused her to shut down, so I backed off. Then, a year passed and revisited again, another breakdown ensued. I asked if she was ready to consider starting our family and being a homemaker instead of working. We were in a great financial position and didn't need the money. She agreed, and for the last year, we have been trying to have a baby. We have even done fertility testing and been given a "you are both healthy. Keep trying." Last week, I was driving her car and dropped my phone. I pulled over to grab it from under the driver's seat and, to my surprise, found birth control pills. I was shocked and turned around on my way to work to confront her. She broke down and called me an abuser for trying to force kids on her. She has never told me she didn't want kids, and I would absolutely never push her. She then started blaming me for her breakdown. She said it's my fault she can't work. I then brought up how I have handled 95% of the cooking and cleaning for the last 3 years because I was trying to support her and allow her to heal while she traveled, and racked up a $10K credit bill every month for me to pay off. Since she has shut down and refuses to talk to me, I have been sleeping at our vacation house because she says it's detrimental to her mental health to share a space with me, her abuser. I can't shake the feeling that I have been lied to and taken advantage of for years now. I want a divorce, but at the same time, if she is genuinely sick, I don't want to abandon her. Am I in a hole for even considering leaving my sick wife? I can't shake the feeling that I'm selfish for even considering this. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for refusing to help my neighbor after what he did to my cat? I, 32M, live in a quiet neighborhood where everyone mostly keeps to themselves. I moved here 5 years ago after getting a remote job that allowed me to live anywhere. It was peaceful, and I liked it that way, until I met my next-door neighbor, Greg, 50SM, name changed. From the start, Greg gave me weird vibes. He was overly friendly in a way that felt forced, always asking me personal questions about my work, finances, and family. I kept my interactions with him minimal, just polite nods and occasional small talk. Then, a year ago, my cat, Machi, went missing. She was an indoor cat, but she loved sitting by the window. One evening, I left the back door slightly open while bringing in groceries, and by the time I realized it, she was gone. I searched everywhere. I put up posters, walked the streets at night calling her name, and even checked security camera footage from my house, but nothing. It devastated me. Weeks later, I was walking past Greg's house when I noticed something. Inside his window was a cat that looked exactly like Machi. Same fur pattern, same bright green eyes. My heart started pounding. I knocked on his door, trying to stay calm. When he answered, I pointed at the window. "Greg, that's my cat." He laughed. "No, it's not. I found her outside weeks ago. She didn't have a collar, so I kept her." I told him I had proof, photos, vet records, and videos of her playing in my house. He shrugged. "Doesn't matter. She's mine now." Then he shut the door in my face. I called the cops, but they said it was a civil matter. I tried reasoning with him, but he refused to budge. One night, I even thought about just breaking in and taking her back, but I knew that could get me arrested. I had to let it go. Months passed, and every time I saw Machi in his window, it killed me. Then, last week, Greg had a heart attack. He was found on his front porch, barely conscious, and was rushed to the hospital. His family isn't close to him, so the neighborhood pitched in to check on his house, feed his dog, and handle his mail. Someone suggested we start a fundraiser to help with his medical bills. And then it happened. Greg's sister, who flew in from out of state, knocked on my door. She looked exhausted. "Greg said you work from home and don't have a family here. Would you be able to help take care of his pets until he's back?" I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "No." She seemed taken aback. "I know he can be difficult, but this is a life or death situation. He has no one else to rely on." I said, "That man stole my cat." And when I begged for her back, he laughed at me. "So no, I won't be helping him." She turned red and muttered something about me being heartless before storming off. Since then, a few neighbors have been cold toward me, and I heard one of them say, "It's just a cat." I don't care. If Greg recovers and asks for my help, I'll give him the same answer he gave me when I begged for my cat back. But still, am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for ending an 8-year friendship after my cameras recorded her in my home when I was out of town? My friend and I met when I was her hairstylist. Then we realized that we only lived about 6 blocks apart. Due in part to the proximity, we became very close, and she would stop by 3 or more times a week. We enjoyed a lot of the same crafts, and we had a mutual love of plants, so we often worked together in my yard or hung out by my fire pit. She had a lot of constant personal relationship crises, which I always pointed out that she brought on herself, and it became more and more exhausting to spend time with her. Consequently, I slowly tried to limit our time together, although I did care about her and knew she didn't have many other friends. Okay, so I went out of town to visit my daughter at college, but before I left I installed the new security system that I had received. It didn't really occur to me to mention it to anyone. When I was with my daughter, I told her about it, and we got on her phone so I could teach her how to watch the cameras at home also. We have 2 cats, and she wanted to be able to see them and interact with them. I was showing her how to see the clips from the motions detected earlier in the day. It was nighttime, so the house was dark, in which case the camera lights are on for detection. In a clip from 2 hours earlier, I noticed my friend walking through my house with the flashlight of her phone. She was inspecting every drawer, cupboard, and nook and cranny. My daughter and I were in shock. I texted her immediately. I asked her if she was at my house today, and she replied that she had been in the backyard picking up sticks, apparently for a fire pit she intended to have at her home that evening. Again, I asked her if she had been in the house. She responded that she had to go into my garage to look for a container. I then told her I had security cameras now. She laughed and asked why I was asking her if she was there, because I had obviously seen her already in the backyard. She had no clue that I had also installed them in the house. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her if she knew who that person might be in my house with the flashlight. She waited a few minutes to respond and then said, "Oh yeah. Your cat got out." I asked her how my cat would get out if nobody was in the house, and she responded, "I'm so sorry, I forgot that I was looking in your house for some gel pens because I needed to do artwork." I reminded her that she had just bought 100 of them the previous week. At this point, I was really getting pissed. I told her that I was freaked out that I saw her sneaking around my house with a flashlight, and that made me uncomfortable. She just kept laughing it off, and then when she realized I really was upset, she changed her tone to one of remorse and said she just needed to find something to do because she was upset with her boyfriend. I told her that I didn't think I could spend time with her anymore because I had spent years trying to teach her about boundaries and our friendship was beginning to exhausting me. So I was telling the story to the guy that rents my basement, and he said that she is at my house every time I'm out of town. He was used to seeing her around, so he thought maybe I had asked her to do something there. 2 weeks later she texted and needed relationship advice, and acted like since we were so close it should not be a big deal. I told her what my basement renter said. I was super pissed at this point. She became very offended and said it was nobody else's business and I should not have told anybody about it. I told her our friendship was definitely over and to not contact me again. I told her that I was removing myself from toxic people. Later, I was talking to one of my other friends, also a client, about it, and they kind of made me feel that I was not a very good friend because I needed to have a talk with her and forgive her. They said that people make mistakes, I need to be forgiven, and she should get another chance. Since she was exhausting me anyway, I just can't bring myself to want to have anything to do with her. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.